Imagine waking up in the middle of the night. The house is quiet, and you're lying in bed trying to drift back to sleep after a long day. But then suddenly it hits you, a tightening in your chest, like something is pressing down from the inside. At first it's just an uncomfortable sensation, something you might brush off, but then it intensifies. Your heart starts racing, and the pain begins to spread across your chest, down your left arm, and into your jaw. You try to sit up, but the pressure is too much. Your breathing becomes shallow and labored. You feel dizzy, and everything in the room feels oddly distant. You know something's wrong, but in that moment, the scariest thing isn't the pain. It's the thought that you're alone, completely alone. You're over 70, living by yourself, and you have no idea if anyone will reach you in time. So what do? What can you do? This scenario is more common than we realize. Seniors are at a higher risk of heart attacks, and the frightening truth is that many of them don't survive, especially when they're alone. But what if I told you that, with a little knowledge and preparation, you could survive this frightening experience? That's exactly what I want to share with you today, because understanding what to do in the event of a heart attack, especially when you're older and alone, can be the difference between life and death. Take Robert, for example. He's in his early 70s, retired and living by himself in a small, quiet neighborhood. Like many seniors, he prided himself on being independent. His children lived far away, and while they checked in often, he enjoyed the peace of living alone. One evening, after a simple dinner of soup and bread, Robert sank into his favorite armchair. He had a good book in his lap, and for a while he was lost in the world of fiction. But then, without any warning, the discomfort began. It was subtle at first, a strange tightness in his chest. At first, Robert thought it was just indigestion. He'd been dealing with mild stomach issues lately, and he assumed this would pass. But as the minutes ticked by, the discomfort didn't ease. Instead, it began to intensify, spreading from his chest to his left arm. The pain was sharp now, not like anything he'd ever felt before. He tried to stand, but the dizziness hit him hard, and he sank back into his chair. His heart was racing, his breathing became erratic, and sweat began to form on his forehead. Robert knew this wasn't just a bad case of indigestion. This was something much more serious. It wasn't just a little discomfort. It was pain that was threatening to take control of his body, and he had no idea if he would make it through. But he didn't panic. No, instead, Robert took a deep breath and did something incredibly important. He remembered what his doctor had told him years ago during a routine checkup. If you ever think you're having a heart attack, don't wait. Don't second guess it. Call for help right away. So despite the pain, despite the growing sense of fear, Robert grabbed his phone. His hands were trembling, but he dialed 911. "I think I'm having a heart attack," he told the dispatcher, his voice shaky but clear. The dispatcher was calm and professional, which helped Robert focus. She asked him to chew an aspirin if he had one. The aspirin, she explained, would help thin his blood and prevent a clot from forming in his arteries. It wasn't a cure, but it would buy him valuable time. Robert had a bottle of aspirin in his kitchen, and despite how much his hands shook, he managed to pop one in his mouth. As he waited for the paramedics to arrive, the dispatcher remained on the phone with him, offering reassurance and guidance. Robert stayed seated in his armchair, trying not to move too much, focusing on his breathing, trying to slow it down. The pain didn't go away, but by staying calm, he could feel the intensity level drop just a little bit. His heart wasn't racing as wildly now, and his breaths, though shallow, were at least somewhat steadier. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep him from spiraling into full panic. He could tell that the dispatcher was guiding him through this, step by step, keeping him focused. And that, Robert realized, was the key, staying calm in the face of it all. The pain wasn't going to disappear just because he stayed calm, but by managing his anxiety, he was reducing the strain on his heart. Minutes passed, and though it felt like an eternity, Robert stayed still, breathing deeply, following every piece of advice the dispatcher gave him. Eventually, the paramedics arrived. They rushed into his home, and within moments, they had him stabilized. They put him in the ambulance and raced him to the hospital. The heart attack was serious, but because Robert acted quickly, the damage was minimal. His survival wasn't a stroke of luck. It was the result of being prepared, of knowing exactly what to do, of staying calm under pressure. You might be wondering, how did Robert know what to do? How did he stay so composed when everything inside him was telling him to panic? The truth is, Robert wasn't just lucky. He had been educated about heart attacks, about the warning signs, and most importantly, about what steps to take in an emergency. He had prepared himself for this moment, even though he hoped he'd never have to face it. For many people, heart attacks don't come with clear, obvious signs. They can start with subtle discomfort, like a mild pressure or tightness in the chest. The pain can spread to the left arm, the jaw, or even the back. It might feel like indigestion, a pulled muscle, or something else entirely. In fact, many heart attacks in seniors don't present with the classic chest-clutching pain you see in movies. Instead, it might feel more like discomfort or mild pressure. It's easy to mistake it for something less serious. But here's the thing. If you think something is wrong, don't wait. Don't wait for the pain to get worse. Don't wait for it to go away. If you suspect you're having a heart attack, call 911 immediately. You need help, and you need it quickly. The sooner you get the help you need, the better your chances of survival. Don't hesitate. You might think it's just indigestion or muscle strain, but the truth is, you won't know for sure until you get medical help. And even if it turns out to be something minor, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Once you've called for help, you need to focus on staying calm. The more panicked you are, the more stress you place on your heart. And stress only makes things worse. So breathe. Take slow, deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Focus on calming your body, on keeping your heart rate steady, and on staying as relaxed as possible. It's amazing how much a little calm can help in a life or death situation. If you have aspirin, chew one. Don't swallow it whole, chew it. Aspirin helps thin the blood and reduces the formation of clots in your arteries. This can help prevent further damage to your heart while you wait for help to arrive. But remember, if you're allergic to aspirin or can't take it for any reason, make sure to tell the emergency responders when they arrive. While you wait for the paramedics, try to stay seated or recline slightly, but don't lie flat. If you're lying flat, it could make it harder for your heart to pump blood. Keeping yourself in an upright position can reduce the strain on your heart. But above all, don't try to move around too much. Don't exert yourself. Keep still. If you live alone, it's important to have a neighbor, friend, or family member nearby who knows what to do in case of an emergency. Make sure they know how to reach you quickly, especially if you're at risk for heart disease. Once you've survived the heart attack, your journey isn't over. You need to focus on prevention. Regular checkups with your doctor are vital, as is maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Diet, exercise, and reducing stress all play a huge role in heart health, but it's also important to continue educating yourself. Learn the signs of a heart attack, know what to do, and share that information with others. You never know when this knowledge might save a life. In the end, Robert didn't survive his heart attack by chance. He survived because he acted quickly, he stayed calm, and he knew exactly what to do. The same can be true for you. So don't wait. Educate yourself, be prepared, and never underestimate the power of staying calm in a life or death situation. Your heart could thank you for it. In moments of crisis, especially when it comes to heart attacks, quick action is everything. Knowing the signs, staying calm, and calling 911 as soon as you suspect something's wrong can make all the difference. Even if the pain doesn't seem severe, don't hesitate to get help. Every minute counts, and the sooner you act, the better your chances of survival. Take a leaf from Robert's story. He knew the warning signs, stayed calm, and followed his doctor's advice to call for help and take aspirin. That's what kept him alive. Heart attacks aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they start subtly. But by preparing yourself with the right knowledge and staying composed, you're giving yourself the best shot at making it through. Remember, heart health isn't just about reacting when something goes wrong. It's also about prevention, keeping regular checkups, living a healthy lifestyle, and staying informed. That way, if the worst happens, you'll be ready. So stay educated, stay calm, and never underestimate how important your response can be.